Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the first of a series of Waking Infinity microdoses, mainly because I need to get it shorter so I could do it more often because these news stories are coming out and evolving so quickly. Mainly the one about GameStop. If you haven't heard of it, basically GameStop is a brick and mortar store for video games. Now, their stock was, I think, around $10, and some people were saying it should be valued around $16. And so some people were taking their stimulus checks and dumping it in there. There was this Wall Street Bets Reddit group that eventually, after Elon Musk tweeted about it, has now around 4 million readers. But Discord, the group, basically the app kicked off this group and would not allow them to basically spread the message. What was the message? The message was, dump your stimulus checks into GameStop so we can artificially puff up the price. Is this illegal? Actually, it's the exact same thing reversed that hedge funders do. Now, hedge funders who have no problem with money, they have far more than enough, they have gotten scared. They have this game called a short sell, where they make money off of a company failing. And when a company fails, mind you, this is when people lose their jobs, they have to go on unemployment, they become a different kind of a burden on the system, they don't know how to feed their families, it causes undue stress and strain in their family. Sometimes it leads them to drinking, drugs, whatever. Those are personal choices. Let's just get back to it. The company is failing. There's a lot of hardship going on, and some people are making billions. Now, that's in and of itself, that could be okay if it weren't for the fact that then these hedge funders have their hands in media, so they send people to the media and say, it's in a bubble, GameStop, it's in a bubble, it's about to crash. And everyone says, oh my God, it's about to crash. Their faith loses, they sell, they pull out money, and the stock crashes. And guess what? That's how these hedge funders make tons and tons of money off of the forced failure of a company. That should be illegal, but it's not. Okay, so now let's take a look at what happened. Many people started dumping their stimulus checks and more money into GameStop. It went from right around $10 all the way up to, I think, $400 or more. This started making Wall Street shudder. And they started thinking, wow, let's take a look at this. We stand to lose $70 billion. Okay, $70 billion. This is an attack. It's an attack. It's alt-right. That's what CNBC is saying. This is the alt-right attacking. They're white supremacists. Whatever you got to do to smear them because they are anti-establishment. They're attacking the financial establishment. In this post by the Epoch Times, it is stated that Melvin Capital was named as taking the lead in shorting the GameStop stock, which was the most shorted stock on Wall Street. This is why GameStop was the one that was chosen. Melvin Capital lost up to 30%, but then were saved by an infusion of $2.75 billion on January 26th. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Joe Biden's new Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, has made over $7 million from speaking at Wall Street firms, including Citadel, which is a major investor in Melvin Capital, and also one of the biggest customers, if not the biggest customer, of Robinhood. Now, who's Robinhood? Robinhood is the app where people were able to purchase stocks of GameStop. And what did they do? They seized and froze all purchases, but they allowed selling of the stock, meaning that should in and of itself be illegal. They seized the purchasing of more stocks, but they allowed for the selling of it. And only recently does it look like they lifted that freeze. They are scared and they are saying this is an attack on the financial establishment. Wait a minute, using the same game, you treat this country like a casino, as both AOC on the left side and Donald Trump Jr. on the right side, people who probably don't agree about anything, they tweeted very similar things. How do you get that to happen? When it's so obvious that this country is being treated like a casino, but when it benefits the House, it's okay. Even when it destroys lives, it's okay because it benefits the House. If it doesn't benefit the House, if average Joes, gamers decide this is how we're going to do it and we are going to artificially pump up the price so Wall Street loses $70 billion, I think that is hilarious. Not because I think these people are going to be out on the streets and not able to feed themselves. They're going to be fine. And here's how I know it. Now, take a look at, there is this article that basically says, it's from the Daily Mail. Elon Musk accuses Discord, which is a chat group, of going corporate after it bans the Reddit group Wall Street Bets that is boosting GameStop stocks. Not illegal, by the way. It's not illegal. It's the same thing reversed of what the hedge funders are doing. It goes on to say, Musk retweeted, even Discord has gone corporate. Wall Street Bets Reddit page has seen millions of new members arriving in recent days after Elon Musk posted a link to the group on Twitter, writing GameStonk. But such are the fears over the viral investing. Joe Biden's White House staff are monitoring the situation, as is the Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay. The Biden administration and Wall Street, they're shaking in their boots. Why? Because this is the same game that they play and the jig is up. What if average people start realizing all you have to do is artificially puff up some prices? Then what are you going to do? Call them all neo-Nazis and take them all off social media? You're going to force the hand into what I think is to be decentralized, open source platforms so people can, in a sense, do the same thing but on a far higher market. Now, there's a lot of people like Tim Pool, on the right side. I guess he doesn't even call himself on the right side, but other people on the left side that are seeing the same game. And this is the same thing that Wall Street or Occupy Wall Street was doing. What if we all catch wind of it and we realize, wow, this is a tactic that can be used. And yes, the Biden administration is pushing against it. We all knew this was the swamp returning. And let's not say that Trump was the swamp exiting. Maybe he just didn't have any clue what he was doing. But when Biden gets back in and the first order of business is climate change, we're going to allow Nancy Pelosi to buy $1 million in Tesla stock. And then we're going to push this EV, electronic vehicle initiative. So for these microdoses, I'm going to give you a conclusion. We do need to do what needs to be done with love. And we need to realize this is not disadvantaging people. These hedge funders, they're not going to be out on the streets eating, tomato soup made out of ketchup packets. They're going to be just fine. I think this is a message, and this is communication back to the system. When the system doesn't listen and it doesn't care, absolutely does not care what happens to your family, what happens to your bottom line, as long as it can make its billions and, in a sense, socially engineer the world, doing things that are highly immoral. It doesn't matter whether they're legal or not. This is what happens. And guess what? My vote is I want to see it happen more. But I don't want to see $70 billion lost in the financial market, because this is just going to make people go outraged. So here's the compromise. Instead of $70 billion, let's compromise at $35 billion. But that $35 billion must go to feed Americans who are disadvantaged because of this, whatever this COVID thing is. Okay? $35 billion to feed people who absolutely need that money. No strings attached. You can't tell them how they spend it, right? But $35 billion. You won't go into this unreasonable hole, $70 billion, if that scares you. Let's stop at $35 billion and say, you learned your lesson right there, and you need to feed people now. Is that so bad? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for joining me on the very first Waking Infinity Microdose. I'll catch you guys next time.